What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr Wargames, and today I'm bringing you a test and combo video for the Dark World deck post DUNE. So this involves Dark Corridor and everything else in between. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. If you want to see more Dark World content, then make sure you smash that like button. Getting it above 50 likes in the first 24 hours will unlock that for you. So, with all of that out of the way, what we're going to do is 2 test stands going first and 2 going second to show you exactly what this deck can now do. So, after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, okay. Card destruction is pretty broken, and so is Nessie. Ultimately, the only risk you play, like you can activate card destruction and your opponent's going to be like, I quite like my hand, Ash, and you've baited out a hand trap already, and then your Nessie is just good to rock and roll. You could set the card destruction, activate Nessie, constantly keep revealing. They're not going to Ash that, but they'll try and Ash one of these. Ultimately, as long as card destruction resolves and they don't draw into a draw because they're main deck and draw, which is give or take this format, you're going to gain so much advantage here. So we're going to activate card destruction. Not only are you going to get knowledge of exactly what your opponent is playing, you're going to draw 4 brand new cards. Okay. Which isn't bad because we're actually going to be able to mandatory trigger those later on. And then you're going to resolve all the effects in the graveyard. So we'll go with Snow is probably the most important in my opinion, and then Danger Nessie is the second most important, and then Rainbow is the third. Now, I believe Greffa is mandatory. So technically that has to be Chainlink 1, but your opponent doesn't have a card to control. So then we'll go Snow, Nessie, Rainbow, because I feel like Rainbow getting me a level 5 or higher is great because it gives me silver access to help with a hand loop, and then Snow is going to get me Ceruli, and then off of Danger Nessie we're going to be able to get ourselves any danger that we want. Now ultimately I'm probably going to go for Mothman, because at least if Mothman gets hit I'll still have the effect to kind of trigger everything I need to. Having double thrust is not the end of the world. I kind of want to discard the Accession, to be honest. So when we shuffle up, kind of with this hand, it's very interesting because you can minimize your hand. You could technically like set these two because they can technically be activated this turn, and then you just go with a reveal 5. And then the idea is that if you hit Ceruli or Accession or even Snow, you're in Dreamland. You don't really want to hit Frost. So personally, I would set those. Just kind of get them out of the hand. And then we're going to reveal Mothman. Now we're just going to go 1 to 5. It's a 2, so we hit silver. It's like the only one you don't want to hit, but we hit. So Mothman will resolve, we'll draw a card. Thunderbird, okay, cool. Silver will then go to the board. Now it's not the end of the world, because again, we can actually loop quite nicely to get a bit more resource. So we'll bring Silver back to the hand, and then we'll bring Rainbow back to the hand for Greffa on the board. Now again, we're in the same position, so we're going to reveal Thunderbird. We'll go 1 to 6. 4, we'll hit the Thunderbird. Big sad. That's just the risk you take. Now, it's not the end of the world because you still have a session if you want to. Like, I could have done a session a little bit earlier. Doesn't really make much of a difference. At least by getting the Greffa back, I've been able to gain a bit more resource. So we'll activate a session. We will use Greffa, and we will discard the Ceruli to go into our Greffa Dragon. There we go. Greffa gets banished, big sad. Ceruli will then go to our opponent's board. Ceruli's effect will make us discard, so we'll discard Silver. We'll rip 1 from our opponent's hand, or rip 2 from our opponent's hand. Silver will then come back. We can now activate a Set Thrust. The Set Thrust will then allow us to search any normal, so we can go for pretty much anything you want, really. I mean, I could go for Dark Corridor. Dark Corridor will give me an additional, like, add and send. Which isn't the end of the world because I can go into Genta. I could also go into Talents to look at my opponent's hand and get full knowledge. I mean, they're already down to 3 anyway. It's not the end of the world, so really should really be here, to be honest, so I can bounce it back in a minute as well. Let's have a look. I'm going to go with Dark Corridor, just because it's the new card. Let's utilise that. Now, see, that Thrust is dead. And the reason that we can add this rather than setting it is because our opponent A controls a monster and B, it's technically them that activate this effect, not us. So we'll activate the Dark Corridor. We'll add a Dark World monster from deck to the hand and then discard on resolution. So we'll add a Genta and then we will discard Rainbow. I mean, I could have discarded Snow, but I'm going to be able to do that in a minute anyway. We'll then use Rainbow to add the Silver back to the hand, so we've got the loop of everything we need there. Obviously, resolve the Rainbow would be a smart thing to do. And we'll go for a Grepher, so that we've got a follow-up for a session. I mean, I could activate a session now if I wanted to, but I might as well save that for one of these ones where it's like, if your opponent tries to break the board up, you still have a play to make. So we're going to use Genta's effect, discard this, add gate, activate gate, gate's effect, banish Genta, ditch, Snow on this one, and then we will draw a card after I've shuffled up. So draw a card, and then on res, 1 Snow, 2 Genta, that's a broken draw. Genta will come back, absolutely fine. Snow's effect will resolve, and Snow can then search me out. How greedy do I want to get on the draws, basically? We'll go for Archives. Shuffle that up. And that's entirely up to you. Like, I would go Talents to look at my opponent's hand just to get the full knowledge. Like, I'm going to loop their entire hand for everything they've got. So we'll do that first. Kind of want to get Genta back to the hand. I don't really want to use its overlay material, but I mean, that is part and part of it. So we'll activate Archives. We'll use Archives effect. We will... I don't want to destroy this really either. Rainbow, sure. I mean, it doesn't really make much of a difference. So we'll discard the Silver. Everything will get boosted. You then get the effect of Archives. So Archives will make us like discard Grepher and draw if we want to do that draw. Honestly, I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to be able to do that again off of the back of gates. The idea of this is just to get Silver in the grave and then Silver can summon back. And then what you want to do here is you'd want to, not these ones, you'd want to, placement. So we want to get Rainbow to the graveyard, and then we want to get Genta to add back. So, best way to do this. Ugh. Do I ditch and draw? Maybe I do ditch and draw. Yeah, we will ditch and draw. We'll ditch and draw too. There we go. Ooh, another Genta and a Rainbow. Cool. There we go. So we'll add the Genta back to the hand. Not that I need to do that now that I've got this. I've got 2 8s on the board, which is absolutely fine. Grepher is, we want to get to the graveyard, so we'll use Grepher and we will use Mothman. Fiend, Insect, and then Dark. Oh, it's got to be same type. Damn it. Absolutely fine. We will just do it this way. Both Fiend. Kashik Magician's effect will trigger, so obviously this will go in the extra monster zone and it will return this. I could have put it here and then it will return my monster as well, but by doing it this way, I can also gain a bit more resource by bringing back Rainbow. Rainbow comes back for Grepher. There you go. So we've looked even more resource. We're still in a very good position because we can activate another Genta. Genta is going to get the second gate, activate the gate's effect, which will allow us to banish, let's banish a Snow, and we will discard Ceruli, draw a card, nice. Ceruli's effect, again, goes to our opponent's side of the field. Ceruli makes us discard, Silver's effect comes back, rips the final 2 cards from our opponent's hand, so now our opponent has absolutely nothing. I could like end my board here. Like, all they've got is one card in their hand that they're going to top deck. Now, even if that card's Dark World no more, they can't do anything with the Ceruli. If I wanted to get rid of the Ceruli, you want to force a discard of Grepher in order to kind of push your plays further forward that way. You still have the negate off of the back of Grepher Dragon as well. And just because you can, let's go Kashik, Mothman, and Grepher. 3 negate Appaloosa. They're not going to do anything. And then we'll add Silver back to the hand for Grepher. And then we can activate a session, discarding Rainbow. Rainbow's effect will trigger, add us a gold. There we go. We played under Nib because we were able to get Grepher Dragon before our 5th summon. We've still got a full hand of 5. We've still got a session. So even if our opponent did top deck Dark Ruler, not that that's going to help them, they activate Dark Ruler, they turn the entire board off. We can still then activate a session. A session can then get rid of Grepher. The only other way you'd want to do this is getting Grepher back to the hand, but that's the one downside of something like the new Rainbow, is that you can't do that, which is a big pain in the arse. But this entire hand is still ready to go. We've got a Genta for the next turn if we want to. We've also got a Genta in the graveyard that we can banish off the gates, discard the silver, summon the silver, banish the Genta, summon the Genta back, and go from there. So very, very powerful. Now, obviously, we did open up a one-of in the form of card destruction, which basically allowed our hand to go wild. But even then, like the 2 dangers, we even had a danger sniped off of the dice roll, so not everything resolved as well. It's absolutely insane when you get to go first with this deck. The issue is you need to play around 2 of the strongest floodgate hand traps of the entire format and of the game, in the form of Draw and Lockbird and, of course, D-Shifter. D-Shifter does not help this deck whatsoever. So, after another decent shuffle, we will go first again. There we go. And our hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, that's pretty good. Entirely up to you on this one. I mean, like, you can very easily go trade in on the Rainbow. And then you'll still have place to make even if they stop that. So if they were to like Ash this, you still have Genta, and you've made sure that your opponent uses their Ash on the trade-in rather than the Genta. So you've had a very good bait out on that one. You still got the Ceruli, so the only thing you'll need to do is offer the draw of the gate of the Dark World, is you'll need to then get the ability of Ceruli, but then you'll still have Rainbow to push back because you can bounce the Genta. Like, there's so much you can do from this, it's crazy. So entirely up to you on this one. I'm going to go Genta early doors. If they've got an Ash, then obviously you can talents and look at their hand as well and then confirm they haven't got a draw or anything else. But you're still in a very good position. So we'll add the gates, activate the gates, gates effect, banish Genta, discard Rainbow, draw a card. Genta's effect, Rainbow's effect. On this one, Rainbow can get me silver so I can get a bit of a hand loop going. But I can also go for Grepher. I've already got the Dark Corridor, so I can get to everything I need to. We will then activate Trade-In, get rid of the Grepher, draw 2, Thrust, and Catalyzer, nice. We can then return Genta to the hand for Rainbow, Rainbow to the hand for Grepher. Very, very nice. You can then activate the Genta effect again, search out a second gate, wherever it may be. There we go, second gate, activate the second gate, and then you are good to cook. Now, if you want to banish the Genta and just leave it banished, then obviously you can just activate it now, and that means that your Dark Corridor can very easily search you out Snow. You can add the Snow now if you want to. Snow will then just give you a session, it just gives you a bit more consistency to get where you're going. The idea is that you also want to try and get to silver. So let's banish the Genta, let's discard the Rainbow, we'll draw a card. Rainbow's effect will trigger. Rainbow will then search us out the silver. There we go. And then we've got pretty much everything else that we could imaginably need. So very easily you can activate Dark Corridor. Dark Corridor can search you out anything you want. So let's go for, well, I say everything you want, any Dark World. Let's be fair on that one. Let's go for Grepher, just so I've got another one. Off of Corridor, we will ditch Snow. Snow will then get us, I mean, you could have very easily ditched the Ceruli if you want to. I'm just getting a little bit greedy here. So Snow's going to get us Archives. Put that there. We'll then activate Archives. We'll use Archives effect to ditch the Ceruli, boosting up your Grepher. Ceruli's effect will trigger, go to our opponent's side of the field, make sure you put it in front of the link zone. That will then trigger Ceruli to then ditch your Silver. Silver will ditch, come back, rip your opponent for 2, they will put the 2 back. And then of course you can resolve the Archives to draw 2, ditch 1, all in one. So we'll discard, do I want to kill the Ceruli or do I want to add it back? I probably want to add it back. So we'll ditch the Grepher, we'll draw 2. Nice, okay, we can play with that. And then what we'll do here is we can activate talents, look at our opponent's hand again because they've activated a monster effect. That will then cause them even more issues. And then, so they now only have 2 cards in hand. So we'll go Rainbow, bring back Silver, and then Rainbow, bring back Grepher. Sorry, Grepher, bring back Rainbow. Activate Frost. Frost will then let us search a normal. What have we got? That's quite funny. Boom. Let's take card destruction. That's very funny. Not that I need to activate card destruction, like my hand's pretty stacked as is. But I can take card destruction. That's just insane. Can overlay the Greffers if I wanted to, or I can set the card destruction. Do I want to control this? Let's control this. Let's go with Catalyzer. So Catalyzer will actually discard itself and summon out the Rainbow. And the reason we're going to do that is because we're going to get like super greedy. Super greedy. Coach King. It's Coach King's effect. Detach. Obviously you detach one at a time. But we're actually going to detach just to draw 3. So 1, 2, 3. Nice. Got even more cool cards to discard off the back of this. Okay. Haven't even conducted a normal yet. That's what's insane. Absolutely insane. I'm going to set the fusion arraignment. I don't really want to lose that right now. I think I've gone through both Greffers. Yeah, I have. I mean, I can also bring it back from the graveyard, which is absolutely fine. Gives me another Fiend monster. So, I mean, you're still in a very good position. Hold this back. Let's activate Mothman. So 1 to 5. 1. Hit the Mothman, which is fine. So ditch. Both players draw 1 and ditch 1. I still don't want to kill the Ceruli, so we'll ditch the Snow. Snow can then get me a session. There we go. Boom. Probably could have just normal summoned the Snow, would have been the smart thing, just to get exactly what I want to complete the hand rip. But my opponent's only got 2 cards left in hand. I could very easy card destruction, get rid of them, and then draw a whole new hand, which is absolutely fine. But then I kind of want to keep the Seal. Yeah, okay. Actually, I've got resource to bring back in the graveyard. Let's activate card destruction. I'm going to get rid of all of it. Like, I'm not going to get anything off of that this turn. Silver will summon. Bigfoot will attempt to pop if I want it to. Jackalope will give me a special. And then a session can actually help me trigger stuff later on anyway. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 brand new cards. Opponent will get 2 brand new cards. Cool. And then we will be able to trigger Jackalope and Silver. So Silver will come back, Jackalope will summon. What have we got? We have Winged Beast or an Aqua. Let's put a Winged Beast on the board because it's a level 8. Not much left of the deck, which is absolutely fine. Then you can bounce back Silver for Rainbow, and then Rainbow for the first Grepher. And then we're going to activate the Fusion Arraignment. Put Silver back in the hand. And we're going to reveal our Grepher Fusion. This will then let us bring back Grepher. And then you could link over if you wanted to, or rank up if you want to. I'm just going to link because we're going to go into a Kashik. Kashik will be in the extra monster zone. It would return Ceruli to the hand. And then we're good pretty much to try and complete the hand rip, which is absolutely fine. Like if you want to confirm the hand rip, you can just go through Muckracker. That will then allow you to kind of confirm everything you need to. So let's just keep this nice and simple. Let's go for these 2 here. Muckracker just needs 2 effect monsters, which is absolutely fine. We'll use Muckracker's effect. So targeting the Fiend in the graveyard. So we'll target. Trying to think if there's anything more worthwhile. Yeah, we'll target the Snow. We'll bring back the Snow, we'll ditch the Ceruli. Ceruli's effect goes to our opponent's board. Ceruli makes us discard the Silver. Silver's effect comes back, loops our opponent's hand for 2. So they've got no cards left in their hand. Yes, I've still got 2 dangers, but I might as well hold them for follow-up because there's no need to rush any of this. So now what I can do is I can bring the Snow back for Grepher. I can bring Silver back for the other Grepher. And then I can also activate a session, making me discard, trying to think what dark words are worth getting. Let's go for gold. So we'll discard the Rainbow. Rainbow's effect will let me add gold. I can activate a session now if I want to, or I can just hold on to it. Doesn't really make much of a difference. And then it's entirely up to you on where you'd want to go fiend-wise. So you've got Unicorn, but I mean, Unicorn would just mean they have nothing left. Which might be worth doing, to be honest, because then you'd also get a draw off of it. So if you use your Akashic +1 Grepher, go into Unicorn, because it's co-linked, you can use Unicorn's effect. We will discard, hold on to the Gandala, we're going to discard the Genta, we'll draw a card, spin the Ceruli back. Or technically spin the Ceruli back, then draw a card, either or. And then, I mean, you're going to have to discard during the end phase, but that's absolutely fine, because you've still got a very fat stacked hand. So during the end phase 2 for 6, let's get rid of Genta. It's kind of used everything it needs to this turn, and let's get rid of a Snow. Not that you absolutely have to do that, but then like your hands here, during your opponent's turn again, they're top decking. So they top deck one card. Like no matter what that card is, like if it's evenly matched, you can still just go, okay, if they go standby phase, main phase, attempt to go battle phase, still in the battle phase, activate a session. Session will banish Grepher from the graveyard, and then we'll discard Snow, summon out our Grepher. Effect of Grepher, sorry, not Grepher, Snow will add us Rainbow. Could have had Ceruli, but there's no need to. Session's gone, and then like your opponent's one card, if it's a normal spell, normal trap, or a monster effect, you just negate it with Grepher. If it's Dark World no more, they've got no other cards to follow up with, and then you're pushing for OTK the next turn anyway. So again, very, very good, very, very powerful. The only difference with this one is that we didn't go for like nib protection early, and bar worrying about Drone Lot Bird, which like I said, you're probably more likely, if you're going to a local environment and your opponent is main decking Droll, then you might need to, you adapt it accordingly. If they're not main decking Droll, then, you know, you do it as you see fit. Like, you got to make sure you read the room and read the overall setup and everything else that you need. So after another decent shuffle and our good old cut, our final test hand going second will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's a pretty cool hand. We have kind of a lot going for us. Like, technically, if we wanted to, we could hand rip our opponent, but we're going second. So you've got to assume that their board presence is pretty much all on the board. Now, Ash in the Dark Corridor would kind of suck. Ultimately, I'm going to set the corridor because I think my hand's really decent for a Mothman reveal, and then I can actually use the corridor a little bit later on. So we'll reveal Mothman, go 1 to 5, 2, god damn it, hit the Mothman, which is absolutely fine. So we both draw one, both discard one, which is still absolutely fine. So let's get rid of Snow, because then Snow can pretty much start setting me up my Genta plays. Now again, Corridor can make some plays going for us here, but we're going to be able to loop some resource back, which is absolutely fine, and kind of burn through our deck as well. So we'll start off by using Genta. Genta is going to search us out our first gate of the Dark World, wherever it may be. There we go, Gate of the Dark World. Oh, that's not Gate of the Dark World, that's Dark World Archives. Gate of the Dark World, there we go. We're going to activate Gate of the Dark World. Going to use this effect, of course we're going to banish the Genta, and then off the discard, I'm going to discard the Rainbow. Move that out of the way. So we'll shuffle up, and then we'll draw one card. Nice, okay. We then resolve, chaining 1 Rainbow, chaining 2 Genta. Genta will summon itself back to the board. Keep in mind the corridor is set. We're just going to flip it face down so we're aware of that one. And then Rainbow will resolve. And this one I'm going to search out the Grepher because we can start getting a bit more aggressive. Could go for gold, but like to get the maximum value out of gold, you need your opponent to kind of discard it. And we're not kind of there just yet. So what we'll do here is we use Rainbow to bring the Genta back to the hand, and we use Genta again to search ourselves out another Gate of the Dark World, wherever it may be. There we go. Gate of the Dark World. Now we can summon the Diabolica from the hand when we use Gate, but only I don't think I really want to as of yet. I quite like the idea of having it as like free discard fodder. So we'll activate the Gate, use Gate's effect, banish Genta or Snow from the graveyard. I'm going to banish... I'm going to keep Snow actually. I'm going to banish Genta, so I've got a follow-up for the next turn should I need it. We're going to discard the Grepher. We're going to draw a card. The effect of broken. The effect of Grepher is going to pop one card our opponent controls. There we go. We're going to do that now. And then we'll use Grepher's effect to return the Rainbow to the hand, so we maintain that hand resource. I'm then going to activate the trade-in for Diabolica to draw 2. Okay, sure. We'll activate trade-in again. I kind of want the Grepher in the hand. Do I want to use this now? let's save this. Let's do Salamander, and then Salamander will reveal the Greffer. We're actually going to summon the Salamander, discard the Greffer, because then Greffer's effect will be mandatory chain link 1, and then Diabolical will chain link 2. So Diabolical will summon herself back, while Greffer pops another card our opponent tries, or attempts to. Like, if they try and negate it, fine. We're digging for Thrust and everything else that we might need later on anyway. We still have Corridor if you want to use it. I'm actually going to activate Trade-In, and we're going to get rid of the Rainbow, and we're going to draw 2 more cards. Bigfoot and Mothman. Cool. Still trying to think if I really want to use, like, I can hand rip my opponent. My opponent has monsters in the hand. I can hand rip it without an issue. I don't mind that. Trying to think if it's worth adding the Snow. Like, a Snow can get me a session. A session can then set me up protection. Should I want it? The question really is, do I need it? I suppose we do. So let's go Corridor. Corridor will add Snow, and then we'll discard the Snow. Snow's effect will then trigger to get me the Accession, and the reason I'm going to do this is just so that I've got the protection that I need. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm in my 5th summon anyway, but if my opponent's going to try and Nibiru me at this point, it doesn't really bother me, because then I can go, okay, cool, Accession effect. Accession will banish the Greffer from the graveyard and discard the Silver. Obviously, I could discard the Bigfoot, pop a card, I could discard the Mothman, but we've already used that effect this turn. And we'll go straight into our Greffer. So it now means that anything from this point on, I'm kind of protected. I could have discarded the Zephyros, but there's nothing on the board that I want to bring back to my hand as of yet. In doing so on Resolution, we will be able to summon back the Silver, and in doing so on that one, we'll also be able to return the Silver to the hand for our Rainbow. So now we've basically looped our hand resource. If I wanted to, I could leave Silver on the board, so that when I reveal Bigfoot, I've got a decent chance of hitting Blackwing. I don't want to hit the Mothman, but sometimes it is what it is. So we're going to add Silver back to the hand. We've got a rank 8 play on the board if we want it to. I've also got the ability to loop Silver again to get it out of the board if I want to, because then I can add the Accession back to set it, discard the Silver, summon the Silver. But you kind of want to make sure you're in a position where you can summon any of these yet. So we'll leave it like it is for now. We'll reveal, let's reveal Mothman. I don't really want to hit Mothman, but 1 to 4, 5, 6 would be a reroll. It's 1, so we hit Zephyros, broken, that's what we wanted. Mothman, draw 1, Genta, okay. Still in a very good position, actually. I don't need to use any of these. I don't want to use the Daguerreos to draw, really. But, I mean, I can do. It's not an issue. I could overlay these two. The only issue with putting Greffer is I've kind of messed myself on the Link monsters. I just wanted to get it out of the way. Double the attack 1 once you control until the end of this turn. I mean, like that, just doubling the attack of that is going to be strong enough as it is. I can use that to double Greffer, so it goes up to like 7,000 base. And that's like, I could have even used Zephyros to bring back the Mothman, which is probably what I should have done. So we'll bring back Zephyros, bring back Mothman, then overlay Zephyros to make that double up the Greffer Dragon. I'm still well protected. And if I really, really wanted to, I could reveal the Bigfoot. The only issue is because I've locked up a couple of zones. Should I try that and I hit the Silver, it's not going to be able to resolve much. Basically, like if I hit the Silver, if I summon the Bigfoot and hit the Silver, I'm not going to be able to get anywhere. So you kind of want to make a bit of space as well. So I'm just having a look to see. I mean, a session can guarantee me the Silver. It's just making Link monsters. That's the issue. Probably should have left the Greffer here. And then made the Daguerreos up here, because then the Daguerreos is then the free. So that's just that's a mistake on my behalf making placement. But even then, it's not even needed. Like, I've popped 2 cards off a Greffer. I can go battle phase and do everything I need to. A session can then discard Silver, summon Silver down. So let's just do that for now. Where are you, Session? There we go. So we can do that now. And then, like, literally just playing through this board. Your opponent's got to break this, and you've got a 26, you've got a 33, a 26, a 3k, and then you've got a 7,000 attack monster there, and then a 15,000 attack monster there. Like, that should be game. And then even if it isn't, you can set the Accession. Then you can make a rank 8 if you wanted to. So your rank 8 could be something like Hope Harbinger. It could also be something like this. If you're worried about your opponent's graveyard, personally, I would overlay this with this. And then I could go into the Sky Prison. You can use Sky Prison's effect to negate the graveyard for the remainder of the turn until the end of your opponent's turn. It will be on 2, 4, 6, up by 600 at the moment. So So it goes up. Now, obviously, you have weakened your board a little bit because you had the 2 big monsters. But what you have done is you've put the Greffa in the graveyard to set up for your session for the next turn. Now, obviously, you don't need to do this till main phase 2 if you don't want to. These are just showing you some options you can go for. So, obviously, main phase 2, if they survived, overlay these 2. And the reason that I would detach the Greffa is to make sure it's in the graveyard. You don't want it stuck under this. If you really wanted to, you can also regain a bit of resource and do something like this. And then you could also... Or you could have brought back the silver. Like, either or, it's entirely up to you. You could bring back the silver, have something like this, and then you can overlay these into another rank 8. The only issue is, by making this rank 8, yes, you've got that spell and trap negate, but you've locked your Greffa under here. So you're kind of in a bit of a sticky situation. Like, unless this gets off the board, you can't summon out a new Greffa fusion. So like a Dark Ruler would shut this board off and you're like, okay. So it's a bit risky, but that's an option. You could then, again, still in main phase 2, reveal Bigfoot. Hope that you hit silver, you could reveal Mothman, and then you'd end up with like silver and a Bigfoot and you can continue making your plays. But that's just an overextension example to show you where you can get to, how the rank 8s really, really help you, how Diabolica helps you. Yeah, and then just remembering placement of your monsters. But yeah, still really enjoy this deck. I think it's really, really fun. I have built it completely different to most people. Again, that's what I want to be. I want to be a little bit creative, a little bit different. I prefer the rank 8 version for local environments. I just think it's very aggressive. It does give you a couple of different options for the deck as well. And it can really catch your opponent off guard if they're not prepared. Frost is so good in this deck just because you have the ability to make your opponent trigger it by giving them Ceruli, and the fact that if you're going second, it gives you instant access to crazy broken cards like Corridor, Card Destruction, you name it, Talents. You could even put in more board breakers going second, so you can put in like 1 Dark Ruler no more. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to minimize the amount of spells and traps. And what I mean by that is, you could play 3 Frost in place of playing something like 3 Dark Rulers, plus 3 Talents, plus 3 of this, plus 3 of that, because your Frost can become anything you need it to be. So that's where you can run the risk, you reduce your consistency of playing technically 3 evenly matches in the deck, but you increase your consistency of going with 3 Frosts and 1 evenly matched, because then rather than playing 3 Frosts, 3 evenly matches to get 6 evenly matches in your deck, you're playing 3 Frosts, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Talent, 1 evenly. So you've now got 4 copies of each of those rather than 6 of 1, if that makes mathematical sense to you guys out there. And then on top of that as well, it also gives you access to power play spells in the form of Corridor, like I said, Card Destruction, Talents, heck, Trading if you really, really want to. It could be a Law. It can also get you to an Extender of Armament. And then, of course, it can also get you to Card Destruction. So you've got, just in your main deck alone, you've got pretty much 5 pretty powerful cards that you're going to want to see in your deck. Obviously, Card Destruction, in my opinion, would be like the main go-to if my hand is cracked. If my hand isn't cracked, I go for Corridor. And if I'm trying to play the hand loot route, I go down through Talents, because then Talents gives you the knowledge. You take away their best cards so that when you hand rip them for the last 2 cards, they're 2 cards that they're going to want to have kept or can't interact with you, and then they're going to lose them, and they pretty much lose the game from that point on. Anyway, I hope it's been informative. I hope it's given you a bit of a breakdown and an insider's look into what the deck can do, the way it's been built. Obviously, this is just experimental phases for the number of corridors, if Armament is actually really worth the investment or not, and then just more of a rank 8 focused build as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.